What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7, and here we have the JLB 21101. Now this is an updated version from the original Cheetah, which is the black and red one that you see around. Now if you were getting into the hobby and you don't want to spend too much money on an RC car that is very capable, then you can't really go wrong with the JLB Cheetah, either this one or the older one, because they offer fantastic value for money. If you were to see my previous video, I took this to the skate park, I thrash it, bash it, crash it, and end of the day, it still survived and drove off with a couple of superficial plastic parts that are ripped off, but that's it. So if you're interested in what I think of this RC car, stick around and watch the video. So not only do you get a really rigid aluminium chassis, great plastic, a brushless system, 80 amp ESC, waterproof electronics, and something that goes really, really well, that has pretty much taken a beating from myself, then you can't really go wrong. Now you might be wondering, I've already done a video about some of these JLB Cheetahs and stuff like that, and yes I have done a fair few running videos, but I also have done a comparison video between the JLB 21101, the old Cheetah and the Vicar Bison, because I all think they are in the same type of league, same value for money and same performance as well. Now if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Just check some of the links in the description. I'll have that video there. The JLB Cheetah or JLB 21101, not a lot of people have heard about, and I get a lot of questions asking about parts availability and if they exist, or can they really buy the parts or the car from their local RC shop. No, you can't buy the parts or the car, I think, from any brick and mortar RC, but there are parts coming in through GearBest, for example, like that, online. The only problem is you have to wait for delivery if you do break something. Now my tip would be, if you buy this car, just get a set of things that you think you would normally break on any RC car. So this car isn't any exception. You might break something like the drive shafts or the suspension arms, lose some 17mm nuts here, things like that, that is normal on any car. For example, I have knocked the wing off there and the whole wheelie bar assembly. Now there is that wheelie bar assembly that I'm talking about, and the whole thing hasn't broke. It's just the part where it actually attaches to the rear of the chassis there, and I'll show you a closer look on the chassis itself, but I'm not going to give negative marks or negative points to the JLB for this part. I did land this pretty hard, and if I can find the video, I'll show you it now. So as you saw by that video, it was a pretty hard landing, and wasn't just that particular landing. I'm pretty sure some of the other ones would have contributed to the breakage of that part. Now one thing to note, that the wheelie bar doesn't just include the bar itself and the wheels here, it also has this light bar at the back, so when that does go, the whole thing comes with it. But like I said, no biggie. I'm not going to give any negative points to the JLB for that, because any other car, be it a Traxxas, HBI, or anything like that, I'm pretty sure I would have tore it out as well. Now here is the other part that I broke on the JLB. Just snapped clean off the brackets there, or whatever you want to call them. No biggie. I can get parts like that, but you know, that happens. Same as the wheelie bar. I'm pretty sure that would happen with any manufacturer, so I'm not holding it against it, so no biggie. But these are the type of the parts that, through my experience, you might want to get new ones or order online when you actually order the car from GearBest. So I'll take the body off the car and I'll show you how it looks after I've been running it for a few months now, and to be honest, I've had pretty much no issues apart from those plastic parts breaking off, which is a testament to how strong these are, because if you would have seen some of my previous videos, not just on this car, I do give my cars a hard time. So So here is where the wheelie bar snapped off from. It's just these two plastic parts there which are easily changeable and yeah, take 2 minutes to swap over, but that's no big deal. Now here is the chassis. I'm not too sure if you would have seen my other videos, the unboxing videos, where I go through in depth on the chassis and the layout of this car, and also what else you get in the box. I'll leave a link to that as well in the description if you want to check that one out. The chassis is a very simple design. It has huge chassis mount up top here, a chassis plate or a brace you want to call it, and the same thing underneath there, very, very thick aluminium plate. Now everything under the chassis is countersunk so nothing gets hung up, and I have hit this pretty hard in some of those videos. As you can see there, the chassis just slaps the ground and there's pretty much no damage apart from the superficial scratches and stuff here, which is no biggie, which you'd expect on any kit regardless of the price. I can't really say anything bad about the chassis, so great points there. Now on to an important part of any RC car is performance, and with that you need good electronics. Now with this JLB Cheetah you get a 2500 kV 4-pole brushless motor. It is capable of very high speeds, has great performance and torque, and to be honest I've had no issue with it. It does get hot with a good thrash, but I would expect that on any car. I guess you could attach just a generic fan, attach it to the can of the motor and just plug it into the receiver, so you've got always constant air running over it. I've had no issues with the ESC overheating or anything like that. It has a decent LiPo cutoff. I think it's around about 3.4 volts from memory, so that's great. It does have that, so you won't damage your LiPos when they get low. The fan on the ESC does a great job in cooling it. It is pretty loud, but I don't really care about how loud the fan is. I want it to perform well, and so far so good. No issues with the ESC or the motor on the JLB, which is excellent. Now the receiver is a 4-channel receiver, so you can plug other things, like I said before, with a fan onto the motor. One thing it notes, it is waterproof. I'm not too sure if it is. It's hard to tell if it's coated in there, but I think I might do another video where I give it a thrash through the water or something like that to actually test on how capable this receiver is. One thing I might note is with the steering servo, it is metal geared, and which is excellent because it does take a fair bit of abuse, especially when I'm jumping as high as I do. No issues on the reliability or the strength. It might be a little bit slow, but that's something I can live with. It's not that big of a deal, but if you want to change something on the car, you can easily change the steering servo because it is a standard size servo. No biggie there, but it does work. It does work well. It might not be as quick as some of you guys like, but that might be because of the metal gears and all that kind of stuff inside there. So the steering servo is okay. Now moving on to the actual battery that you get with the kit, I've had great run times out of this. It is a 4000 milliamp 3-cell 30C LiPo battery, and it is hard case, which I always say in my videos I really like, because especially when you're jumping and bashing, you do bang the batteries around the chassis, and sometimes, worst case scenario, if you have a soft case, that might puncture, and nobody wants that. But the all-important thing is how does it perform in the runtime? Well, I've been getting a lot of punch out of this, and I've added some other batteries which have a 60C rate, and I haven't really seen that much of a difference. Now, with the 4000 milliamp hour, you probably get around a good 20 to 25 minutes runtime, which is excellent. All thumbs up for me here. I like how they include a 3-cell LiPo. A lot of other kits that are much more expensive do include a LiPo, but they might only be 2-cell, where this is 3-cell, and I think you can actually chuck a 4-cell in that bad boy to really get it moving. Now little things like this impress me about the JLB. They include boots for the shock shaft to protect them from dirt, dust or any other debris, not to get in the shaft and scratch it or damage it up, which is, some people might think it's a small thing, but it's the small things that add up. I guess the devil's in the detail, so that's really nice. It's all really thick aluminium. It seems really well designed. It's put up with all the abuse that I've chucked at it. I had no bent shock shafts or anything like that. All the stays are where they should be, and the spring rate seems to be good. You can easily change out the oil or the different springs if you really like to, because it is progressive. It has 2 springs, one at the bottom, one at the top, threaded body, aluminium, and yeah, seems fine to me. And yeah, I can't really complain. It's not really a bugbear if anything. If it's too soft or too hard, you can always change out the oil and stuff like that to make it perform how you really want to. So thumbs up from the suspension point of view. Moving along the bottom of the car, touched on the chassis, which is extremely strong, and for the landings I have, it looks pretty straight to me. Now you can use it as a level, still have had no bending in there whatsoever, which is fantastic. Now you might notice these A-arms, you think, wow, they taper down quite considerably where it joins onto the hub, and that is true, they do, it's quite obvious there, but I've only a couple instances where the whole hub turns. Now you see here, you think, oh, something's gone wrong, how the wheels are twisted, but if you just kind of pop it back, like magic, it's good to go. That's awesome. And you think it's broken or you've snapped something, where in reality you just need to snap it back and it goes back into the original shape that it's intended to, like that. And this also follows through, not just for the updated one like this, it also works or also happens with the old original Cheetah as well. So kind of unique trait. I haven't seen that on any other vehicles, but at least you know the plastic is very flexible when it doesn't snap. And I've hit these extremely hard, and yeah, no issues with any of the A-arms or any other plastic on the kit. The one part of this kit that I think could use some improvement is the strength of the drive shafts. I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but if I spin it, these do bend slightly with some savage abuse. So I did notice that on the old one as well. It's not that big of a deal because you can easily pull them out like I did with the original Cheetah and just bend them back with a vise or with some pliers and stuff like that. They are very hard to bend like that. The amount of force that you put on these when you jump them and have some decent crashes. Yep, roll your boat. This is pretty intense and it does bend these. So I'm not too sure if it's my driving style, because I do take them pretty hard sometimes, but that's how I like to drive, or if it's a design fault, or if the metals are just a bit weaker. But the good thing about it, you could change them out. There are parts available, and if you don't want to change them, you can fix them just by bending them back, which is I've encountered. So drive shaft point of view to the wheels, they're okay. They could use a little bit stiffening or strengthening up, but apart from that, it's excellent. While we're talking on the driveline, the center drive shaft here is bloody humongous. It's thick, never had any issues with that. I think that'll outlast the car. It does have a metal pinion and spur gear, which is good for longevity. Just make sure that mesh is always nice and where it should be. No issues whatsoever with the drivetrain, sorry. A1, can't fault that. Now, of course, with all the positives, there are some negatives, and regardless of how cool this remote looks, the range isn't as good. Well, from what I've experienced with my unit that I have here, wouldn't go further than maybe 100 meters where the car would stop, pause, and if I walk closer, it'll start again. Now, with the original one, I did not have any issue with that whatsoever. The old one does have an antenna, so as you can see, this is the old one. It does have its little stubby antenna. Now, I think maybe the design, how it's all internal in the newer version, maybe has issues with that, and maybe that's something they need to address in the actual later models. I'm not too sure, maybe that's even the antenna. I'm not entirely sure, I haven't ripped it apart, but just from using mine, not too sure if other guys have had the same experience. The range isn't nowhere near as good as the original JLB Cheetah transmitter, so that's something to bear in mind. That's a gripe that I have with this. If you're just general bashing, not too far, it's okay, but if you want to do some speed runs, like I couldn't really do decent speed runs with this car. That's why I haven't really seen any videos of that. It's just I couldn't get to the range at the other end of the cricket pitch or the football oval or something like that. That's why. So something that needs to be worked on. Maybe it's my unit only, you know, I'm experiencing that issue myself, but if you have that issue, please leave them down in the comments section as well. It'd be interesting to find out if it's a, you know, not just my unit. It does have nice aluminium 17mm nuts there. Everything is held in place. I've never actually had to take them off. They've been secured from day dot. Now, one of the biggest issues I had with the old Cheetah which is something that's you can easily fix, was the tyres. And on this new one, they have improved them a lot. They seem to grip much better, and overall just give it a better driving experience, much more enjoyable on all surfaces. On tarmac it still grips really, really well. On grass the same, but where the old one was a bit underwhelming on kind of hard compact dirt like in a BMX track like that, it wasn't performing very well. But these do work much better. I'm very happy that they've changed this whole tyre and wheel combo. The Lexan on this body seems very rigid, especially in this direction. It doesn't really bend much at all, but it does have some flexibility for when you do flip it on its hood, which is inevitable. I've definitely hit it a few times. The damage is not that substantial at all. A couple of dents and scratches and stuff like that, but the body, rigidity wise, is excellent. Quality seems fine. The graphics do look nice, and yeah, thumbs up for me. If I had to give the car a rating, I guess, out of 10, I'll probably give it a solid 8. It really, really is an exceptional RC, and one thing that people don't understand is the price that these are going for, especially if you pick them up at a flash sale. You can get them for under $300, which is unbelievable when you consider you're getting the whole kit caboodle, including the charger for the LiPo battery. You're getting a brushless powerhouse, a 3-cell LiPo, 4,000 milliamp, which is, you know, pretty decent in size, 20-minute runtime, and epic performance. I don't see how you can really go wrong. Yes, there are some complaints I have with the transmitter, small things like that. The plastic on the rear wheelie bar and the wing is no real big deal for me, but yeah, in general, it's a fantastic RC. Now, regardless if you're just starting into the hobby, this is a great car. You expect a lot of crashes, and even if you are experienced in the hobby, these will be really great in your collection. Some you can just thrash around, not know that it's going to hurt your wallet every time you smash, or feel guilty thrashing it and jumping it and backflips, double backflips, and all that kind of stuff with it. So it's a great all-round bashing vehicle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really interested to know if you share the same thoughts. If you do have one, what you think of it. What issues have you seen or come across? Because to be honest, I haven't really seen any real technical issues. The motor performs well, ESC performs well, only issues with the drive shafts, things like that, but that's no big deal. Maybe that's how I drive it, because I do, if you've seen the video before, launch these into the heavens and beyond to see if they can actually take the abuse, and which they do. They might bend slightly, but yeah, no biggie. I really, really like this truck. The original JB and this updated JLB, both definitely worth the money, and in saying that, it's not much money either. Now, I hope you guys like this kind of review or final thoughts video on what I think of the JLB 21101 Cheetah. I think it's awesome. Go check it out. I'll leave the links down below. You can search to your heart's content. Good thing about it, there is a lot of parts availability coming in, not just from GearBest, from other vendors as well. So that's awesome. At least you won't be left out and dry if something does go wrong. Thanks guys. Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.